I naively joked about my husband's size, but I wasn't prepared for the consequences. Is a true unbelievable infidelity story of forbidden love. In a small sunlit kitchen filled with the aroma of fresh coffee and baked bread, Margaret and Tom shared their morning routine. They had been married for over 20 years, their lives intertwined in a comfortable rhythm of laughter, love, and the occasional bickering over whose turn it was to take out the trash. Their banter was a cherished part of their daily life, a reflection of their deep connection. But one fateful morning, in a moment of playful jest, Margaret made a careless remark about Tom's size. It was meant to be lighthearted, a teasing poke that had always brought laughter in the past. Yet beneath the surface, Tom harbored deep insecurities about his appearance and self-worth. At first, Margaret didn't notice the shift in Tom's demeanor. He chuckled along with her, but his laughter felt forced, the sparkle in his eyes dulled by a shadow of hurt. The comment hung in the air like an unwelcome guest, whispering doubts and fears he had tried so hard to bury. Tom had always been conscious of his weight, a struggle that started in his youth and had only intensified with age. Margaret had always been supportive, but this joke cut deeper than she realized. As days turned into weeks, Tom's behavior changed. He became withdrawn, retreating into himself like a turtle hiding in its shell. Margaret felt the distance growing between them, like an invisible chasm that she could not cross. They no longer shared laughter over breakfast or cuddled on the couch while watching their favorite shows. Instead, silence filled the spaces where love once thrived. Margaret's heart sank with each passing day, and she knew she had to address the growing rift. She tried to reach out, to apologize and explain that her comment was never meant to hurt. But Tom's replies were curt and distant. He would smile but avoid eye contact, and she could see the weight of his unspoken words pressing down on him. Their conversations became strained, filled with awkward pauses and lingering tensions that left Margaret feeling helpless. Desperate to repair the damage, she planned a special dinner to remind him of their love. She cooked his favorite meal, set the table with their finest china, and lit candles that flickered softly in the dim light. As they sat down, Margaret poured her heart out, sharing her regret and how much he meant to her. But Tom's silence was deafening. He picked at his food, his mind clearly miles away. Finally, unable to contain her anguish, Margaret reached across the table, grabbing his hand. "Tom, please talk to me," she pleaded. "I never meant to hurt you. I love you." Tom's eyes welled with tears as he finally spoke, his voice trembling. "You don't understand. It wasn't just a joke for me. It's something I've battled with my entire life. I thought I was stronger than this, but your words made me feel small and insignificant." In that moment, the walls they had built around their hearts began to crack. Margaret realized how the little things, the unguarded moments, the offhand comments, could erode trust and intimacy in their marriage. They spent the evening talking, tears flowing freely as they shared their vulnerabilities and fears. Tom opened up about his struggles, the pressure he felt to meet societal expectations, and the deep-rooted insecurities that plagued him. Margaret listened, her heart breaking for the pain he had carried alone. But just as they began to heal, a twist of fate interrupted their fragile reconciliation. Tom's old college friend Aaron, who had always been the epitome of confidence and charm, returned to town. He and Tom had lost touch over the years, but Aaron reached out, suggesting a reunion. Excited to reconnect, Tom invited Aaron over for drinks one evening, unaware of the unspoken tension that would fill the air. As Aaron entered their home, a wave of nostalgia washed over Tom. Margaret, while initially excited to see Aaron, couldn't shake off a feeling of unease. Aaron was still the same charismatic man she remembered, and she could see how Tom looked up to him. During the evening, as the three shared stories and laughter, Margaret noticed how Aaron's playful banter effortlessly drew Tom out of his shell. The two men began reminiscing about their wild college days, and for the first time in weeks, Margaret saw a glimmer of the old Tom, the one full of life and laughter. However, as the night wore on, Margaret found herself increasingly uncomfortable. Aaron's comments became flirtatious, directed not just at Tom, but also at her. At first, she brushed it off as harmless, a part of Aaron's playful nature. But soon, the compliments became more intense, and Tom, buoyed by the atmosphere, seemed oblivious to the shift. Margaret's discomfort intensified as Aaron leaned closer to her, his words dripping with charm and mischief. "You've aged like fine wine, Margaret," he said with a wink, and she felt a wave of tension rise between her and Tom, who remained blissfully unaware of the subtle exchange. In that moment, the insecurity that had begun to crack Tom's armor reared its ugly head again, and Margaret felt a pang of fear. What if Tom found comfort in Aaron's attention, leaving her feeling even more isolated? The evening ended with Tom feeling rejuvenated, but Margaret was left with a storm of emotions swirling inside her. The next day, Tom received a text from Aaron, inviting him to join an old college reunion party. Margaret's heart sank as she realized this could be an opportunity for Tom to reconnect with his past, but it also opened a door to the insecurities that had plagued their marriage. As the reunion approached, Tom was excited and encouraged by Margaret to go. She wanted him to have fun and regain the confidence he had lost. But as the day drew near, she found herself consumed by anxiety. What if Aaron tried to come between them? On the night of the reunion, Tom left with a smile, and Margaret, feeling a mix of dread and determination, decided to confront her fears. She put on her favorite dress, an elegant yet simple outfit that accentuated her figure, and headed to the reunion venue unannounced. She wanted to surprise Tom, but more importantly, she wanted to see the dynamic between him and Aaron. As she arrived, she felt a flutter of nerves. The atmosphere was vibrant, filled with laughter and chatter. She spotted Tom across the room, laughing heartily with Aaron and a group of their old friends. The sight of him so animated filled her with warmth, but she couldn't ignore the unease creeping in. Margaret approached, ready to embrace Tom and show him that she was still there for him, despite the shadows of doubt lingering in her heart. Just as she reached him, she overheard Aaron's voice, smooth and enticing, as he leaned close to Tom. "You know, buddy, you should really consider coming out with us more often. You've got a lot to offer, and Margaret just doesn't appreciate it like she should." Tom's laughter faltered slightly, a hint of uncertainty creeping into his expression. Margaret's heart raced as she realized Aaron's words were sinking in, threatening to undermine the progress they had made. Before she could process her emotions, she stepped forward, her voice steady yet firm. "Tom," she called, and the moment he turned to her, the warmth of their connection washed over her again. "I'm so glad to see you having fun." Tom smiled, but the tension in the air was palpable. Aaron's gaze flicked between them, the smug grin on his face faltering for just a moment. "Hey, look who decided to join us," he said, attempting to keep the atmosphere light. But there was an edge to his tone that Margaret couldn't ignore. Feeling emboldened, Margaret took Tom's hand and squeezed it gently. "I wanted to surprise you," she said, her eyes locking onto his, searching for a sign of the man she loved. In that moment, the connection between them reignited, a silent understanding passing between them that was stronger than the insecurities and doubts trying to tear them apart. Aaron, sensing the shift, backed off slightly, but not before throwing out one last jab. "Well, Tom, don't let her keep you from enjoying life. You deserve it, you know? Just like the old days." The implication hung in the air, and Margaret felt a surge of protectiveness over her marriage. With her heart pounding, she took a deep breath and faced Aaron head-on. "Tom is exactly where he needs to be," she said, her voice steady. "We've been through a lot together, and nothing will come between us again." Her words rang with conviction, and she could see the admiration in Tom's eyes as he realized the strength of their bond. In the days that followed, Tom opened up to Margaret about his insecurities, and how Aaron's comments had made him question himself again. But instead of driving a wedge between them, their experience became a turning point. They began to communicate more openly, sharing their fears, their dreams, and their desires. Together, they embarked on a journey of rediscovery, going on romantic dates, exploring new hobbies, and even revisiting the places that held memories of their early love. As they embraced each other's vulnerabilities, their relationship grew stronger, and Margaret learned to be more mindful of her words, while Tom learned to embrace his worth beyond his physical appearance. The tension with Aaron had sparked a fire in their relationship that they hadn't felt in years, proving that even the weight of careless words could lead to an unexpected rekindling of love. The challenges they faced only deepened their connection, teaching them that true love is about more than just affection. It's about understanding, trust, and the willingness to fight for each other.